Hello. In this video, I want to show you how I make a virtual frame to a picture in Photoshop. I do this because prints will look much better in a frame if I add a broad white or gray edge to the picture. Remember to choose a real picture frame bigger than your original image. First of all, you need to choose the size of your picture frame. In my opinion, a 2:3 proportion image looks great in a 3:4 frame, and the 3:4 proportion image looks great in a 4:5 frame, and so on. But a square image looks great in a square frame. For this video, I have chosen a 20 by 25 centimeter picture frame for my 12 by 18 centimeter image. Now I open my image in Photoshop. Then I set the foreground and background colors for two different gray colors in order to create a shadow effect for my beveled Passepartout, a bright gray and a dark gray color. I unlock the background layer and add two new layers. I move the image layer to the front. Now I want to color the two new layers using my two gray colors. Then I go to Image and Canvas Size. I choose millimeters, set Relative, and add 5 millimeters to both width and height. Adding 5 millimeters to the canvas will create gray edges 2.5 millimeters wide. Now I paint one of the new layers bright gray, and the other new dark gray using the Paint Bucket tool. Remember to first change color in the panel with the color swatch before switching layers. Now I need to rotate my image 45 degrees. I'll go to Image, Image Rotation, Arbitrary, and type in 45. Please note that you can save all the previous steps as an action. I'd call it Virtual Framing 1. The next thing I want to do must always be done manually, not using an action. What I do now is make a mask that will cut some of the dark gray layer away. I'll do this in order to make the light gray layer visible only in the lower and left half of the gray frame. First, I choose the whole thing with my rectangular marquee tool. Then I remove the upper part of the mask by pressing Alt and using my rectangular marquee tool. I have now shaped the mask to cut exactly through the image corners. I shall now make sure that the dark gray layer is above the bright gray layer. Then I click on the dark gray layer and press Delete. Now my picture has a two-colored gray edge. It looks quite nice, doesn't it? What I do next can also be saved as an action. I'd call it Virtual Framing 2. I go to Image, Image Rotation, Arbitrary, and type in -45. The image turns back to the original upright position. Then I go to Layer, Flatten Image. Now I want to get rid of the white frame. I'll select the white frame with the magic wand, then go to Select and Inverse. Now I go to Image, choose Crop. The white frame has now disappeared. Now my image has a two-colored gray edge. This looks like a beveled edge with a shadow effect. Now I need to add a white or gray cardboard frame. I'll go to Image, Canvas Size, and uncheck Relative and choose centimeters. I'll type in 20 for width and 25 for height. Then click OK. Now I'm done. My image has a beautiful frame, well suited for a 20 by 25 centimeter image frame. Before printing, I'd normally add a cutting edge. I'd add 1 millimeter to the canvas size and choose gray. After printing, I'll cut away the slim gray line. Now my image is ready for the picture frame. Thank you very much for watching this PlanPhoto video.